problem solvers succeed. Doing anything that you've never done before can be daunting. Knowing that you need to do this thing that you've never done before can be exactly the resistance to keep you from doing it. What's up, Crypto Nation and all you Stoss Fund investors? What an amazing 2022 we have had. I mean, the ups and the downs, the twists and the turns. Well, at least for me, I had an amazing year. I just finished writing my newsletter from the Agile VC to 23,000 beautiful people all over the world. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But after hitting the publish button, it reminded me of something. My old Bitcoin in review. Some of you guys remember the last time I did it was 2019 for the Bitcoin Pub, if you were a part of that. And what I would do is I would go over all the history of Bitcoin that year and all the significant things that have happened. Now, I haven't done a year in review in years. And so I hit publish on the agilevc.substack.com. I published it out and I was like, you know what? Let's create a video for all my YouTube people. So guys, let's talk about 2022 year in review with context towards 2023. Let's get into it. Here's the newsletter entry. Every single year in December, I have the exact same feelings about the passage of time, that the year flew by, but it also crawled. There are also times in the year that were emotionally draining, so brutal in scope, so psychologically exhausting. There were also times of great peace, joy, and revelation. There are moments that seemed long. While the cadence of time went on, it all adds up to a full calendar year, and once again, we are here, you and me, my friends, at the end of the year. This particular year has been the hardest ever. Like every year. What made this year amazing were the moments of hard work, because looking back, we've seen what we've made. We've seen what we've become. We're ready for our work and what it has prepared us for. So here's to 2023, looking back at 2022. Let's take a look back at 2022 from the context of looking forward. Life is your behavior. During my hashtag Pura Vida vacation, some of you guys saw that on Twitter, I had a discussion with a businessman in his late 60s, Mr. Woon. We were both hanging out in a hot volcanic springs, and we were sharing stories about what we've seen so far in the amazing country of Costa Rica. One particular part of our conversation stuck out to me. It was his ideas around habits creating who you are. Now this, my friends, is what captured my heart. This quote right here. He said, "Life is fair. You get who you are. Whatever your daily habits, you become." Let's say that again. Life is fair. You get who you are. Whatever your daily habits, you become. This resonated so strongly with me that I wrote it down in my notepad on my cell phone. How true this truly is. This man had built a healthcare supply company over the last 30 years or so. He told me about how much has changed in the shipping and logistics world. Certification, bad laws, making it harder to do business, etc. He used the word flexible a lot, as in you have to be flexible when things change. I would use the word agile myself, but I believe in the subtle nuance between the two words. Flexible can seem passive. You go with the flow. Agile can seem active. You engage the work. In most cases, I ask good questions during these random conversations with men and women of industry. Sometimes I just want to listen. I also don't want to move into my interview mode where I'm actively and obviously extracting knowledge and wisdom. You guys have seen me do many interviews where I'm doing that. It's easy for me to get into that mode. But I didn't want to do that in this case. I wanted to listen to this man. And so, from his wisdom, I extracted about 3 lessons from his 30 years of business building. Number 1, life is what you make of it. Life is fair. Number 2, you become your habits or your behaviors. And number 3, problem solvers survive or thrive. Life is really fair. To Mr. Woon, life is completely fair, because each and every person gets to choose how to deal with situations that life presents to you, whether good or bad. I loved his communication of this idea as quotes from my 365-day daily Stoic devotional rang in my head. Marcus Aurelius and these types of things. He's not wrong. Every single situation in life allows us to choose how we face it, endure with it, and deal with it after it's happened. We have the choice. The Stoics would say that every situation is just as it is. It is what it is. No need to add negativity into any equation. He feels like he has the life he deserves. I think there's also an air of pride in that. He's fully awake. He knows that he has a hand in the life he has. Why? Well, he built it that way. You are your behaviors. To Mr. Woon, your life is not what you think, but rather what you do daily. I found his retelling refreshing of his youthful confidence in his 30s that he knew that he would be successful in business. He knew this. It was clear to him. He knew exactly the right behaviors that would allow him to become successful in his industry. He followed and shadowed the successful. He watched and learned and engaged in the work. He stayed curious and forward-thinking as new laws, legislations, and international relations affected his business. He stayed flexible and adaptive during economic cycles. He stayed lean so he could stay in business. What I loved most was the humble confidence he had through all the decades of building. You could hear it in his voice. He was proud of his work. He was proud of his intentionality to change his behaviors to the ones that were useful to him. He removed the habits that had no value. He never intended to build a multi-million-dollar international medical shipping company that would span 50-plus countries. He just behaved like one. And it happened. Problem solvers win. To Mr. Woon, the problem with the world today is that everything is a black box. Nobody actually knows how all the tools, gadgets, and technology they use actually work. To him, the power of technology brought a downside. These generations no longer know how to fix anything or problem solve. He even challenged me on a couple of things like, can I change my own oil? Check. Can I change my own tire? Check. I didn't go into the fact that I was deep in the racing and car world. I was an active listener. He asked me, can I fix household appliances? I told him that due to the economies of scale, if my microwave breaks, a new one is just $29 away. He laughed at that. Regardless, he's not wrong, especially in areas of business. Mr. Woon knew that a life of autonomy requires to be a jack of all trades. To him, I suspect this isn't a bad thing. To him, it allowed him to live the #Pura Vida lifestyle in paradise and rely on no one. To him, freedom is to be active and engaged in solving life. So, let's look at my two major accomplishments in 2022 in the context of Mr. Woon and his lessons. In 2022, I established Stas Fund. A full write-up is also a link below, but you can also read that on the newsletter. It's a venture media studio for the Web3 world. Now, I have participated in building several other funds. However, this would be my first foray into building it 100%. Like, truly, guys, 100% myself. Nobody was helping me. It was me. This was my vision. I wanted to build this. I wanted to do this myself. From the vision, legal, securities, audits, financial compliance audits, team building, more legal. Love those lawyers. Contracting, taking money, deploying capital, interviewing operators, marketing, sales, HR, back-end ops, even building and designing the daggone bloody website myself. Yep, it was a 100% full-stack job. And it took the entire year for me to build this entity. But now that I have this entity, I can do amazing things, and I have been. So I finally finished the full design of the website on December 28th, just the other day, and I began in February of this year, closed the legal compliance by September, and have been iteratively deploying capital into 20-plus projects. And frankly, we're fucking crushing it. So, in the context of this particular endeavor, Stas Fund, is life fair? Well, I've never built a venture fund before. Nobody I wanted on my team knew how to do that either. All we knew was the vision we saw before us. My team accepted this fate and we willingly walked into the great unknown. Patience with legal and asking dumb questions and clearly looking like a noob cake was an acceptable perception for me this year. After all, it is what it is. I've never done it before, but I'm grinding it out. You are your behaviors. I've been around the VC startup world for over a decade. I knew what I needed to learn. I knew who I needed to tap. I knew enough about what I didn't know to ask questions. I took a beginner's mindset and put my head down to build. Frankly, that's what I do best. Problem solvers succeed. Doing anything that you've never done before can be daunting. Knowing that you need to do this thing that you've never done before can be exactly the resistance to keep you from doing it. Those that are willing to stay agile, continue to solve the problem in front of their face, never quit, and continue to pick up the next job to be done, are the ones that can stand with pride and say that they did it. As I like to say, be active in your own salvation. Nobody's going to build your life for you. You must do it yourself and, eventually, if necessary, find the people to help you do it. A global team is what I needed. And that is what I found for my second amazing thing that I've accomplished in 2022. It's Medify. In 2022, we successfully completed a full turnkey transformation of a 23-acre data center into a scalable Bitcoin mining operation. We began by converting the data center into mining-ready infrastructure, ops, and technology. We completed our first 3 megawatts by April and fully prepared the 165,000 square foot facility for phase 2 at 10 megawatts and prepared the infrastructure for a full 100 megawatt deployment. Man, it was so much happened this year, guys. It was so awesome. We built so much amazing stuff. I have my very best team pulled from the cryptocurrency community that I've built over the last decade. Medify was born, invested into, and they're printing money, even in a down economy. We're now ready to scale into hundreds of megawatts for multiple partners all over America. And I absolutely love being a part of the backbone of the digital currency economy. So, when it comes to Medify, is life fair? In 2022, well, the largest build out of a Bitcoin mining facility ever. From laptop to 23 acres, guys. That's been my journey over the last decade. It's been my largest investment ever, the largest payout potentials ever, and we took everything in stride. I'm so proud of my team and who delivered on time and on budget. And for those who've taken my Agile and Scrum courses, this is because it's a complicated system, not a complex one. You guys would understand. We had some major bumps in the road and stayed true to our integrity and even let some forgettable people fail us miserably on their side of the deal. Life is fair, though. All parties are getting or got exactly what they deserved. And we deserved. You are your behaviors. The men and women I brought into this investment are the best infrastructure operators in North America. They can build anything. Their diligence, their hard work ethic, and service to our clients was top shelf. I could not be prouder of the men and women who brought this beast of a project to life. Now I have the perfect team to scale any digital currency facility on the planet. Problem solvers succeed. You see a person's character when you see them tested. You see what they are really made of. And man, I'll tell you, this year, I got to see 11 men and women's lives deeply. And I now know what they're made of. It's awesome. I know how to leverage them and use them best. It's amazing. Every single issue that we had was dealt with quickly, efficiently, and transparently. It's amazing to see what a team can do when everything and everyone is on the same page, has the same shared understanding, vision, and purpose. So, amazing accomplishments in 2022. So what are we going to be doing in 2023? Well, simply put, this year will be the year of scaling my venture fund, Stas Fund. We hope to deploy even more capital into great entrepreneurs with world-changing ideas in Web3, as well as support the underlying infrastructure of Bitcoin with our Bitcoin mining platforms and facilities. Life will be fair with my building behaviors while being ridiculously active in my own daily salvation. Here's to the builders in 2023. Here's to you, my friends. May you build towards the life you want by creating the habits that'll get you there. subscribe to the newsletter. See you, fam.